I'm Molly here. I'll be one of your co-hosts. We've got Jacob on here as well, head of sales, and then Georgie, head of engineering on the Artemis side. And then we've got the man himself, Austin, head of sales, VP of sales at Maxwell, formerly HDM. Austin, if you want to say a word or two, and then we can jump right in what we're covering
You got
today.
it. Yeah, excited for this. This has been a long time coming. Excited for this for a lot of reasons, but really just for the simplicity to be able to sell what we feel like is the best solar product in the country. So we'll dive into the details of it, but appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be great. Um, cool. So today, what we'll cover essentially, my part will be just kind of a state of the union, state of the asset class. I'll make it short and to the point because you guys are here for Maxwell in our demo. And then Austin will cover a bit about the prepaid PPA and their offering, what makes it stand out, why it's a winning product. We'll follow that up with a quick demo of Artemis and Maxwell, and then we'll have a quick Q&A. So we'll jump right in. This is the sort of state of the asset class. Some of this will be new or refresher for most, but it's some of this is sort of the latest as of this last quarter. But we all know solar batteries are all financed, and so financing is a really important part of making our industry possible. And uh, solar as a ABS or asset-backed security traces back to like 2013. Solar City actually issued the first solar bond back then, and since then, there's been about 35 billion in solar bonds since. And these are the names. Some of these names are pretty familiar: Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. And so they're putting money into this asset, but they're also putting money into all these other assets: student loans, credit cards, auto. And so we're competing as an asset class for that same dollar. And the beauty is we don't have to fight too hard. We tend to outperform auto, credit card, you name it. This is a very high performing asset class. But lately, we've been dropping the ball. You'll see here there's been about 53 downgrades on solar bonds. And so these bonds get rated, ratings change frequently. And recently, the ratings have not been heading in the best direction for us. And it's not due to the borrowers themselves, it's due to the actual structure and the way the financing is designed. And you can see that pretty clearly in that loans have been downgraded. And this is nothing against loans. These are just sort of the facts today. Whereas leases have been upgraded or have held pretty strongly. And three reasons, and I promise we'll get to Maxwell here. This is all buttering you up for Maxwell. Three reasons why things have been breaking is that essentially it's been assumed that there's going to be some sort of prepayment um, in these portfolios, and it's typically because of the ITC after 18 months with a loan. Okay, they're going to prepay. They're going to take that tax credit and apply it as a consumer to the loan. We all know that hasn't really been happening, and so that's one of the areas that the ball's been dropped. Second, from a service standpoint, companies going out of business, projects being orphaned, and so homeowners, though they have good credit, they're stopping making payment because of it. And then lastly, savings. If a product does not save money when you stack the utility bill and the monthly payment, consumers will also not, will fight to make that payment. And so the reason we're very excited about the prepaid PPA, and a lot of you on this call have been, probably already selling it, is that the ITC capture can actually happen and get shared. And so it solves for that really big reason why, one of the big reasons why we've been dropping the ball. Also comes with production guarantee, and so performance to the consumer is Maxwell and others are backing it, as well as the servicing, and then there's savings up front. And so for all these reasons, prepaid PPA really gives our asset class an opportunity to like get back up into the right as a whole, and we all benefit from that. And so with that, the reason we're all here, then I'll hand it to you, and please tell us everything, Maxwell.
Love it. It's a great start, Ollie. Appreciate you doing that. It's good to understand where the market is as a whole, where it's been, and kind of why this shift has been so monumental, right? And so Our product, the first thing we always start with is this is not new, right? Although it feels new, the big beautiful bill just put a big spotlight on it, right? It made it, in our opinion, the most viable solar product out there, but it's not a new product, right? We've been doing this for 8 years, over $1 billion, right, in deployed system value, 20 plus thousand systems, right? Been doing it for over 8 years, which means we've passed that 6 year mark. Ownership has been transferred to homeowners, right? We are doing that actively daily, transferring systems back. So again, not a new model. There's a lot of new companies out there, right? There's a lot of new structures that exist. You should be able to feel confident sitting in the home, knowing that this is not new. It's tried and true, and we've been through this for quite some time now. So the homeowner, as shown on there, right, upfront discount. You're able to take a cash deal, a loan deal, and discount it immediately upfront for the homeowner. A predictable cost, right? It's a fixed payment because if they're financing it at whatever that rate is, right? There's no escalators. There's no what's going to happen down the road. It's set. We also have protection in that because we own the asset, because it is a PPA, power purchase agreement. There's a lot of protection that exists for that homeowner. We're going to own it, which means we insure it, we maintain it, we monitor it, we add a performance guarantee. So huge for the homeowner. And then obviously that last one, a path to ownership, right? It's the ability to own their system while still, hey, I can monetize this tax credit. And it's the only proven model, right, that exists where that has actively been happening, right, and actively transferring back. So you can jump to the next slide, Willie. This kind of beats it like a dead horse. I'll skip. I'll talk on this for 10 seconds, but you can go back. This is just really how is this presented to the homeowner, right? A little bit similar to the last one, but immediate savings, right? Again, take it right now. No cost transfer. We've been doing it actively for 2 years. Full protection. And the number 4 we didn't hit on that last slide, which is future proof, right? So everyone knows that this current tax structure, the solar is set to end in 27, right? The end of 27. And then batteries good through 2032. What we've done to hedge against that is we've safe harbored billions of dollars. I think you said millions there, should be billions, right? In equipment that will help us to be able to sell this well beyond 2030, right? We're looking into the future and making sure that we are hedging that bet, right? Will tax credits and the tax law and everything be the exact same as it is now in 2 to 3 years? Probably not. If you've been in solar over 18 months, you know that that's probably impossible. That some law, legislation, something's not going to change. But if it didn't change, we're set, right? We're here to stay. So you go next one, Willie. Awesome. Sales process is very simple, and it just got a lot simpler with Artemis. To the right is the math of how this works. So I'll start to the left, and then we'll jump to the math. So you're going to sell a homeowner on a cash or loan deal, right? You're going to sell ownership like you're selling it today. It's like a 30% discount in this example. Our pricing, I'll show you that here in a second. Our pricing changes, right, depending on where it's located and what equipment you're using. But for the sake of easy math, we'll say 30%. You take 30% off the total system price, which is done in Artemis. You then will sign an install agreement, right, for that discounted amount, right? That prepaid amount is what we call that. In this example, $35,000, which again is being sent inside Artemis. If it's financed, those financing options will populate inside of Artemis, where you can see, using different financing options, what is that monthly payment going to be to the homeowner, right? To find out what's best for them. Are they trying to pay this thing off quickly and go a 5-10 year route? Are they interested in the cheapest monthly payment over time? All of that will be taken off of this $35,000 number. You then will send the prepaid via Artemis in the system, when before you had to go into our portal, right? Go into our portal, form fill, put in that information again. That information's already there. So you're going to be able to send our prepaid agreement in a second directly to that homeowner to e-sign. And then just like always, we have a quick confirmation survey, about a 90-second survey that we're simplifying and making easier too, that just to make sure that the homeowner understands who we are, what we do, and what's our place in all of this. So the math to the right, really easy on a sample system. We're going to say the solar is 35,000, the battery's 15, which makes the total 50. So this is a $50,000 system, right? The homeowner's paying 35, right? That 15,000, that 30% is what we are paying the installer. We pay 15,000. You can call it as a down payment for that homeowner. An easy way to explain it. We're going to pay that 15,000 to the installer, which means the installer can discount that 15,000 upfront, right? So total profit coming into the installer is still 50. It's not 35. It's just 35 from the homeowner, 15 from us, which totals that 50, right? I think on this, it's important for the homeowner to understand that we win by taking the tax credit, right? That's how we're paid. The homeowner doesn't pay us. We don't pay the homeowner. There's no transaction ever happening between us and the homeowner monetarily, right? So they are going to prepay for 20 years worth of power up front. That's what they're doing for $35,000. And they'll be able to own this system after that year 6 term. To them, that's what matters. To us, we're able to claim the credit, and in instances, obviously in all these instances, claim well over 30% of a tax credit, 40%, 50%, whatever that number is. That's how we're paid through this model, right? So I think it's important to explain that to a homeowner, because otherwise it sounds too good to be true, right? We are monetizing the credit. That's how we're paid. The homeowner wins because they're able to get an upfront discount today. The installer wins because they're able to make the same margin that they were pre Big Beautiful Bill. Awesome. Next, Willie.
All right, my fingers are getting excited here for the next stuff. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Here's payouts. This will all be sent to you after, right? You can ping us directly. There's going to be a way to getting a hold of us, right? We can go dive into a lot more detail. These are just benchmarks as far as like price caps go for solar and storage. The payouts to the left depend on, again, where is it located? Is it inside of an energy community, which is easy. You can type that in 10 seconds, where are our energy communities, and pulls up the map, shows you where they are. Most of our states that we operate in are a very heavy energy community for that purpose. And then domestic content, right, is another one. We have a plethora of options, right, to be able to use on the battery, inverter, and panel side. And so you can dive into that. We'll shoot you the AVL. You can look through the different models, but 30% if it's both, 25% if it's one or the other. And currently no other prepaid option offers anything for non-domestic, non-energy communities. So that's why that 17% is there. Next. Awesome. Again, I'm going to go through these next 2 slides very quickly because I want to get through the demo and then make sure we have some time for questions at the end, which is the most important. But this is kind of us in comparing us to what exists out there with prepaid leases and other type of prepaids, right? With prepaid PPAs, there is no sales tax on power, so there's no hidden payments. There's no potential for issues down the road. Skipping down to the bottom 2, we have institutional capital, billions of dollars ready to deploy. Very different model than most. And then we insure our tax position, right, which is unique, right? We insure every single system and every single tax credit, ensuring you're getting paid, ensuring the homeowner is able to transfer that system to us. Next, Willie. This will be the homeowner facing side of it. So what does the homeowner care, right, between the difference between us and a different prepaid? We production guarantee, we underwrite the system, confirmation calls, price caps, all of that. We insure the systems, right? So the homeowner doesn't have to go do that if they don't want to. Grid service, battery discharge. We do not take any of that battery. We're not going to charge it, discharge it, right? They're able to use it how they want to use it. Any rebates, utility rebates, any battery rebates, anything that exists out there, that all goes to the homeowner. And in other type of models, that's not the case. Next. Awesome. And we'll finish with this. This is the markets that we currently operate in. We are starting to make an expansion out to the East Coast here. Illinois should open up here very shortly. We have Pennsylvania, New Jersey coming next, and then Virginia probably in Q4. This is an ever-changing map, and we have lots of partners that are reaching out in different parts of the country. It's all driven by volume and need, right? Where's the biggest need, and where can we make the biggest impact? And so if there's a state that's not on there, feel free to reach out. We're taking that data every single day and making sure that we're in the right places so you all can sell the right product. So that's it for me. Wally, I'll kick it back to you, and then we'll touch base here in a little bit with the Q&A.
Yeah. Thanks, Austin. Awesome to go through that. And yeah, we have very high conviction in Maxwell as the company and the prepaid product. There's a place and space for other finance options as well, but today is about prepaid, and we feel really really bullish about it. And so we're bringing that to you through Artemis. For those that are not familiar with us, we are the number one rated product today for solar and battery software. We not only build products, but we also are a research lab. So we have in-house PhDs, MDs, and uh, GIS, computer vision, et cetera. And so we build our own models, and those models allow us to do what some of you know us to be able to do, which is be able to reconstruct the property in seconds, and then use that to model, where solar is going to go and how it's going to perform, and essentially make underwriting easy. And today we serve solar, battery, electrical, roofing, and gutters, and we plan to serve these other interior and exterior upgrades as well. And we've been in a lot of your shoes. We've been in the field. We built our models, built our product, while also being on the hook for every permit, every interconnection, procuring every piece of equipment, being on the hook for the performance of everything we modeled and promised to the consumer and to our partners. And so we know this game, and we built our product to be able to essentially make sure that contractors and reps and financiers are served. So in a nutshell, just for those that are hearing about us for the first time, with just an address in Artemis, we reconstruct the property in 4D, and 4D meaning like we know the asset and its performance, and the property and its performance, or its history and its likely performance over time, not just the 3D dimensions of the property. And this serves the reps that are on the field, lenders, suppliers, distributors, and now our AI agent Artie. And this part, there might sort of be a split in audience here, but there's a belief that AI designs cannot be that accurate, and obviously we're in the stance where that's not fully true. There are areas, of course, where imagery is poor due to aerial providers, due to all kinds of noisy data. But we believe there's a future similar to what Waymo's been able to do with autonomous vehicles. So there's a future where designs in many parts of the product can be autonomous. And where that is the case today, we've been able to achieve statistical equivalence. And this is a study done by the Department of Energy very recently, and essentially equivalence with drone flights. And so essentially it was a blind study. They picked 100 different routes, and we went ahead and put forth our assumptions and estimates, and achieve, again, a statistical equivalence. And this is something we're going to make public here for folks. And so with that, we're releasing a couple of things today alongside the Maxwell announcement. So we'll show you the end-to-end experience. We've also implemented automated title check. So when you enter an address, not only will you get the 3D reconstruction, we'll also confirm a bunch of things that preempt qualifying the customer. You can also offer roofing, doors, other upgrades within the platform. The reason this is important is you can find many, many ways to serve the consumer, and you could do so with just a couple of clicks versus using external platforms. And we are also releasing Artie. Georgie, our head of engineering here, will give a quick demo. And essentially, you can just talk Artemis now with natural language and be able to tell it what to do. And this is really useful because we're always training new team members, bringing on team members, and this will lower the barrier to entry. And so as long as they can speak English or whatever language, Spanish, they can essentially be able to customize, move that tree, add those panels, get savings. Obviously, we're very excited about this. So with that, Jacob, you still here?
in the flesh. Let's
All
go.
right. It is all you.
Well, yeah, I think if you stop sharing Waleed, I'll take over. I've said here. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Thumbs up. Cool. But yeah, let's see how magic happens. You guys teed that off really well. So essentially when you're in Artemis and you want to create a new project, just go ahead, punch an address in. You can move the pin around, right? Make sure it's on the right house. You can select all the verticals that you want to sell. So it's not just solar, not just roofing. You can group all these together. Um, leave better in there. And you can create as many teams as you want. They can all have their own users, equipment, and pricing. On the solar side, for consumption, we do support interval data. You can manually put in the consumption. But what most people use, we've trained our AI to read all electric bills. So let me drop one in here. It'll take about 15 seconds at most. It's a lot faster and more accurate than any human eye is going to be. And then while that's going, we do also auto detect the electric companies in the area. So you just choose who they're with. Give this another second. So you can see it spit back the annual consumption, gives a confidence score, and that's mainly based on the blurriness of the image. And then reps can just cross-reference those monthly values. Then all you got to do, and don't look away, this is going to be pretty quick. Punch in customers info, hit create project, and then within seconds, like Waleed mentioned, you essentially have an install ready project created here. So that's the real speed of it. 80% of the time, reps are able to run with what AI creates. They can come in here and just turn panels on and off. If it didn't do a good job, say imagery was bad, you do have a few options. So we do have an in-house design team. Reps, if they're not comfortable with a design editor, they can come in here, highlight certain areas, let our team know any context that they need, and then our team can get it back as quick as 30 minutes, a manual design. And we also have a design editor, which you can get as granular as the wiring. It's going to have all the features you would have in any other design editor. Um, right, so you can highlight panels, you can delete them, you can add panels in pretty quick. If you wanted some to go landscape, right, you can do some landscape, some portrait. So you have full autonomy in there, and you can edit trees, fire setbacks, and all that stuff. The title check thing, which I breezed over. So when you're in here, you'll see this is a renter. So you guys can't compete over this lead. Um, but in here, this is where you'll see, you know, if it's the homeowner, you can refresh and make sure it's, the person on title is who you're speaking with. So that's automated now. And the other point here, Artie's going to be here, which Georgie will touch on, but you can also speak to it or type in here and it can create design changes, do a ton of stuff, which I'll let Georgie touch on as well in a minute. Once the rep has what they're ready to sell, it can come in to the present mode. This would all be white labeled. And this is an interactive proposal. So when you're in here, and I think I went to the wrong address. Let's go here.
You did a little bait and switch there for us. Yeah.
Yeah, this is interactive. So if they're presenting, homeowner says, hey, I want these panels turned on as well. They can turn those on. Now they're active in the proposal. If they don't want solar, I'd say they want, Tesla, for example, they can come in here, switch to Tesla, and then it'll switch the branding so they know what they're getting. I added roofing on here as well. So this took a 3D rendering of this house. And then what you can do in here is you can show the homeowner what different colors would look like on their house. Maybe take 10 seconds for that to render. I'll come back to that. Consumption data can all be edited in here. All right, so there's the black. This is the gray. This is the house we're actually looking at. So if you guys do roofing as well, you can show the homeowner in here. That was a dummy house.
And we're going to add the ability to like show batteries and solar on it as well. Just for this release, it's tailored to the roofing being displayed on the AI.
Yeah. For savings, you guys can edit the rate schedules, the postal rate schedules, right, to make sure it's accurate with what they're on. Um, there's a slider here for savings. Utility escalator can be adjusted if needed. And depending on the market you're in, you can edit energy arbitrage, and you can load count, right? So if you have a homeowner that knows their loads, they know what they want backed up. It'll tell them, based on their consumption, this many panels, this many batteries, and these loads. This is how long it'll back those up for, so you can play with that. And then, while we're out here today, this is right here, this one. This is the Credit Human powered by Maxwell integration. So we just chose one option to display here in the demo environment. Waleed and Austin, if you guys want to touch on anything on this part, feel free.
Yeah, you probably just want to change equipment as you saw there in that warning there. Change
Yeah,
the
the only reason is LEDWP, where you did that, is battery only for us. So in the entire state of California, it's solar and storage, but in LEDWP, it's just battery only. So that's why the number will look a little bit different. But I think it's important to hit on the credit check piece. The number one reason for rejections in our system by a large percentage is someone who signed the agreement is not on title, right? Because the husband signed it, went through all the paperwork, but then accidentally, you asked, but it was actually the wife that was on title, or vice versa. So that's a really critical piece to be able to avoid rejections in the beginning. And obviously, pairing this prepaid is going to do that math that we just did for you, right? It's going to take a $50,000 deal, and it's going to turn it to $35,000, and say, what is that monthly payment on the $35,000?
Got it. Cool. Yeah, I'll touch two more things, and then we can probably, George, let you do already in Q&A. But in the export center, you can obviously download shaded reports, ZXF files for CAD designs, and then there's instant roofing reports. If you guys do Xactimates, those are in there, and we do connect with CRMs. We have a fully open API. On the roofing side, it tells you how many squares are needed, right? All the measurements are here. And last thing I think I skipped over on the proposal, there's a good, better, best option, which you guys can set on the background. So if you want there to be a battery on the best and a different battery for good and better, you can have different proposals, good, better, and best within here as well.
I think
I think that's
two other things to call out, Jacob, are showing the confidence score and how we will call out if we think certain things should be reviewed. In this case, we'll tell you that you should double check the ridges and the valleys here, for example. If the imagery's old, if you name it, we'll tell you what the issues might be, and you can enhance the design by uploading your own photos. So phone photos, Google Street View, and drone photos as well are all supported, and then you can essentially, and this will kind of guide you through taking those, so you can enhance essentially the accuracy before you go ahead and proceed. And then jumping back down to the Maxwell section, I think it is important to call out that you said this is the battery only market.
yeah,
Is that right?
LEDWP is, yeah.
So just
Yeah.
remove everything, and let's just go ahead and essentially, we want to be able to show what will happen here. So the discount, if you click the little that little exclamation there, so this one does qualify for domestic content for the battery, right? It's energy community eligible, and so we'll call those out. And then essentially, depending on the lender, the financier, and Austin, you could probably speak to the financiers you're partnered with, who we support, and we're integrating with all of them. And so you'll then be able to run the credit if they support that, generate the documents here via API, and then it will push everything to the Maxwell team, and also be able to pull any updates as well.
You got it. Yeah, obviously some lenders that work directly with us are smaller credit unions who don't have direct APIs. So from here, it'll send you to their link where you put the information, run credit, send docs. But from here, I think the important piece is you're not having to go into our portal anymore from Maxwell's side. So you'll be able to send out the prepaid PPA as shown here. All the math calculations, everything that's showing is pulled directly from our portal, right? So it's not Artemis's math, it's our math, right, that they're showing. So the numbers are going to be accurate, right, to be able to tie in to all the metrics. So yeah, we're getting fancier with that. There's a couple of key partnerships that we're working on that we're going to announce here in the next weeks, right? Next few weeks, that will be a lot more integrated here as well. Some unique stuff to Maxwell on the lending side. So be on the lookout for that. But as of today, we've got a couple options in there, and we are open to any options, right? Artemis is willing to put in anything to pair that Maxwell prepaid PPA with. So the finance numbers show, and we can make it clean across the board.
That's right.
So
There's
excited for
nobody
it.
that can nobody can integrate faster. So if you're a lender,
Agreed.
they'll tell you, and we're always eager to bring new stuff to the market. And so, yeah, with that, Georgie, I know you're chopping at the bits to kind of preview Artie a little bit, and we've got, I think, now 16 questions here in the Q&A. I promise you we'll get to them. So if there are other questions y'all have, feel free to put them in the Q&A section, and we will address all of them. So, Mr. Georgie Modesto, floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. Let's jump right in. Let me quickly share my screen here. Okay, so in short, RT is the agent that's going to work alongside your sales, design, and ops team. And we really want to 10x your workforce speed. We want to not only remove that back and forth between sales and design, but also even for financiers like Maxwell, RT is going to help them validate projects much, much faster, right? And for sales reps, usually the companies have a sales team and a design team, and there's a whole back and forth going on. Like the sales rep is at the door, and there's a designer that's highly specialized in the editor tool. So we want the sales rep to just ask the RD to make changes to designs, right? And that's possible. So let me show you a bit of RT's capabilities. We can, just like Jacob created, use the utility view to check the details. RT can directly create a project from a utility view. So let's draw project from this, right? So it will analyze the bill, maybe ask a couple more questions to clarify stuff and so on. But on the previous topic, like we want really to streamline the whole process, and that includes managers analyzing their projects, their earnings, managing projects, moving projects around, assigning labels, adding notes, comments, that kind of stuff. Everything is integrated in Artemis, or is in progress to be integrated in RT, right? While RT is reading this utility view, let me just quickly show you how RT handles design. So this project right here, it's quite good, but I think we missed some spots here in the roof plane. So we can just ask, hey, can you max speed panels here? So it's going to try to add as many panels as possible, and we can always adjust the number of active panels that we want later. So this takes a couple seconds. While that's going, okay. So I will show you in a bit also that RT has SKUs. So, okay, there you go. So RT fit as many panels as possible in this design, but the offset is way too high, right? So we can just ask, reduce offset to 100%, right? And when we ask that, it's going to reduce to 100%, but it will also prioritize only the panels that are maximally productive, right? You'll be able also to move like around the panels that are active. For example, it could have a group the panels, right, into a single group. So that should be possible as well from RT in a bit. Let's get back to the other project we had. So what email should I use for John Doe? So the utility bill doesn't have the the email, right? So let me just use my email. And okay, so now it's asking for the team. We can just, you see, interacting with Artie is quite fluid because not necessarily you have to respond textually. It also gives you like forms and nicer interactions while it's creating the project. Maybe I can show you the artist skills. So we have skills built into Arti, and you can have both personal and organizational skills. So this is where like your guidelines, how you like your projects to be created, like things that the sales reps or designer need to follow. Everything would be set up there. Okay, so Arti was able to set up this project, right? And yeah, this is just to give you a quick taste, but let me also talk about the skill. We can try to run a skill here. So let's just check. I'll invoke a skill here. Solar design preference. Let's run this project against the company guidelines for solar project and fix it. So Arti also loads automatically skills, so you don't even need to explicitly call the skills. If you just mention that you want the project to be validated, it's going to load the skill and validate as your
Yeah. And these are things like,
you.
for example, we have age-based fire setbacks, but you as a company might be more conservative, less conservative. You may, want to not undersell the amount of batteries a consumer might need. You want to make sure that there's enough backup, et cetera. So there's all kinds of preferences you might have as a company, what things you can and can't bundle. Don't sell a roof with TPO products. You always have to split the financing. So those are all like things that you'd set up, and they're automated typically, but then you'd have them as a skill or add other skills or preferences as you choose.
Yeah, exactly. So it finished validating this design, and you can see it checked the fire setbacks are well applied. We have the solar access is good. There's no like huge shades right in front of the design, even though this design does have trees and so on. So yeah, that's about it. And this is just the beginning. Like we all have already built, but are rolling out an integration for RT with SMS. So your sales reps, all your users from your account don't even need to have the Artemis logged in into your phone. It's just you just interact with it via SMS, and we will
That means
also integrate.
just when you're in the
Yeah,
field, your customer gives you a bill, you just take a photo, text it to Artemis, and Artemis will do what you just saw here, and it'll create the design, ask questions like, "Hey, okay, the customer's ready. Can you email them the proposal? Can you email them the contract? Change this." So just complete text-based experience. No app if you choose. Um, and uh, and so we think we've got that sort of in alpha early stages, but we think that's going to be helpful. You could take photos when you're in there, and then it'll upload and update the design. It should make teams much more productive. As an example, go ahead, George, if you want to add anything else, and then we'll get to the Q&A.
yeah, for sure. So besides SMS, we're going to have a Slack integration as well, a Slack bot. We are going to have an MCP as well, so that you can use all RT tools from whatever your preferred AI agent. And yeah, we're just getting started. That's about it.
All right, thank you, Georgie. Good stuff. I will switch here and then as we jump into the Q&A, this is the time to take out your phones and scan. So this is a promo that we're doing today alongside Maxwell. Essentially, we'll give you a month free of using Artie, our AI agent. to get a real taste there. When you get onboarded and set up, Maxwell will be fully pre-set up for you. And then we'll have a dedicated person that will make sure your account is set up, your equipment, your pricing, your lenders, your documents, etc. Just like you prompt Artie, you just prompt us and we'll get it done. And we'll also train all of your relevant teams for you. And so the intent is to make it easy and frictionless for you to get started. So with that, I'll keep this up. We've got some questions here. I saw you've been answering some of them already, Austin. Let's. I used to have an HDM account. Can I sign up for Maxwell? I think it's the same, right?
Yeah, reach out directly to us. Yeah, on this next page, when we get to that, you can see our link, right? That you can sign up. You can also send it directly to me as well. Yeah, there you go. You can just send it directly to Austin at maxwellpower.com. I'll be give me a day as these start to flood in. I'm gonna try and delegate this to others and get it going. But yeah, if you're interested in partnering with us, we can set up a call, get an intro demo, right, and walk you through it. If you used HDM in the past, you still have a login, right? All that changed was our name, logo, branding, right? We're trying to be more consumer facing, customer facing, so you all can sell the product easier. But yeah, everything structurally is the exact same. So yeah, I was answering a couple of these questions. I'll jump in a couple while lead, and then I'll pass it to you. I know there's some that are Artemis specific, some that are Maxwell specific, but I responded to a few of these, but I think it's important to reiterate. Someone had asked, can the pricing be, can I go domestic content on the solar and on the battery, or vice versa? 100% you can, right? For Tesla, for example, on the battery side, we built this structure, right, to be able to help facilitate that, where you can go sell a battery. The battery is domestic content. The solar is not, so it would take a blended average of the two, right, depending on the cost of the system. So it could be a 28% discount you're offering, 28 and a half, right? It'll all do that math for you, depending on if the battery was domestic and the solar was not. So definitely an option.
And we'll make sure in Artemis that is supported so that you don't have to do that math yourself.
Correct.
It'll just tell
that
you
same
right there.
calculation that was happening in our portal is happening up front here. I use HCM now. It's amazing. I agree. It wasn't a question, but thank you, Thomas. Excited to have you keep using this and make it easier for you. There's a question about lending options, loan provider. So we have a sheet. Reach out to, if you're partnered with us, reach out to your account manager. He has an actual one pager that shows you all the breakdown. But today it's about 11 to 12 different credit unions across the country, right? Depending on which state you're located in. I would say today, nationwide, it's Credit Human and Figure are the most common. Credit Humans, your standard solar loan. Figure's a 30-year HELOC. So that's pretty unique here, with Artemis, and that you could bundle in roofing and all of that. With most solar loans, you stick with solar. A HELOC with instant approval, right? We have a lot of partners shifting volume and looking at different HELOC and options. California, there's Energy Loan Network, Wheelhouse. I can name a bunch, but it's really very area specific. And if there are some that aren't on the platform that you currently use, I think we're currently batting 1,000 on lenders understanding a prepaid PPA and getting them to fund it, right? And understanding the basics behind it. So I'll pass it to you, Waleed. I know there's a couple Artemis ones in here.
Yeah, and we're getting the Figure integrated, which is pretty cool. They're publicly traded, well reputable, and so we're actively getting the integration stood up here. All right, the Artemis is a lot here, so let's see. Let's see. I gotta scroll. More questions coming in. Will there be a recap brief of this webinar? Yes. Cost of Artemis. So you can go into. We'll just put it on the chat here. We typically end up being all in, lower than other tools that you use, but I will put it into the chat and you can see our pricing right there. artemispower.com/pricing. Is Artemis planning to do integrated partner type of offering? Has the relationship allows their install users to sell those financial offering. Not sure. Maybe if you can clarify that question. Um, we treat installers as our customer, and we build products fit for them and with them. And so that's my blanket response. If you want to clarify the question, I'd happy to respond. Which loan providers does Artemis support? We also work with, there's about probably 20 or so lenders. For those that don't have APIs and integrations, we have a pretty seamless non-integrated approach, where, like it saves you the double entry, the all that. And we're building a Chrome extension so that essentially you can, again, save yourself, maybe not the six things you've got to do, but you save yourself, four of them, until that said lender eventually has an integration.
And I threw in our link as well in there. So if you have specific questions, obviously feel free to reach out to me, account managers. But we have maxwellpower.com/installer-contact. If you aren't working with us currently, or need access to the portal again or something like that to go through that process, please use that link. It's gonna be a lot quicker to get back to you than pinging me via email. But that's a great option as well, a good resource.
Yep. We do integrate with Copernic. Could Artemis create with the financing and allow it? Yeah. Yes, Nick, we could totally do that. Um, so let us know if you have any specific in mind. But we build products with lenders, and so title check, credit check, AI compliance videos, all kinds of stuff that hopefully should make it easy for lenders. And we're doing a lot of that with Maxwell. So Maxwell is going to be on the bleeding edge of that stuff. And there's some stuff that we're excited to announce that hasn't been done before, and we'll be doing them for the first time, with the Maxwell team. Is Artemis required to work with Maxwell? It's highly preferred, but you don't have. There isn't an integrated experience like this right now with Maxwell, and obviously feel free to comment on this, Austin. So to have a seamless experience, the answer to that is yes, but you can use other tools.
Correct. This is the only active integrated one where you don't have to triple data entry into different portals and different processes, right? So we're excited for this shift as well, because everyone's goal is, how do we give the homeowner the best product, and how simply can I do it, right? How easily and quickly can I get this product to the homeowner? I think this solves all those questions. There's a couple questions on here about pricing. So that pricing that we showed, that is not our pricing. Those are price caps, right? So we don't set the pricing, you do, right? The installer sets the pricing. We just have price caps that exist, right? So you can't sell over those. The system will not allow you to go over that. If you went over it, we are only going to pay our 30%, this example, up to that cap, right? And so we're not setting pricing. That wasn't like fixed per kilowatt. You have to sell at this price. We allow you the autonomy to sell it at the price you want, but price caps obviously do exist, just like they exist in every other TPO type product, or should exist in every other TPO type product. So customers aren't getting taken advantage of.
Nice. Can you get access to the sizing tool? Answers yes. You can add featured consumption. We support windows, doors, HVAC, and we model the improvement in consumption there as well. And you can sort of put guardrails in case you don't want to like overly stack the potential efficiency gains. Over time, when Artemis makes estimate, does it overestimate project costs about as often, or is it average out? Yeah. So on a portfolio basis, all of the work we've done with DNV and the lenders, whatnot, we are plus or minus 1%. There are some highs and some lows in those portfolios, because imagery is bad. It's in the middle of nowhere. You can't run AI well. You need to do a site visit. You want to fly a drone. But on a portfolio level, it's plus or minus 1%. So the errors average out, I guess, to your question here, on a large set of projects. And when they don't, we'll call it out. And so we'll tell you upfront in the project what you can do, right, to improve it. And it's up to you as an installer, a rep, to take those considerations or not. And then you can always, again, use our team to make changes to improve the accuracy.
I'll jump on two of these real quick while lead. Someone asked about commercial. So yes, we offer commercial. Today in Artemis, it is not a commercial product. This is directly integrated for the PPA side of residential. And that's not because of Artemis, that's because of us. Our commercial process currently is manual, and we are automating that as we speak, right, to make that a little bit easier. Right now, today, you submit a form. That form goes to our team. We kick back what the pricing is, right? What the price cap is for that specific project. Just because obviously commercial is, all over the board. So today, yes, still works commercial. This integration today is just residential. And then you had asked about, someone said, hey, if I'm live in Artemis and live in Maxwell, how quickly can we get the integration to work? Hours, right? So you ping Artemis, they will let us know. We basically have to do a little API connection to it, and then you're live, right? We send them back a code. So reach out to Artemis. They'll ping us. We'll get them the code they need, and then you're live. So, and they said, are you still using the HCM portal, or is there a new portal for Maxwell? Good question. So the same portal. If you log into our portal today, it still shows HDM Capital. All that will make a shift here very soon in the next couple of weeks, right? We started with the rebrand of the name, and then secondary will come the contracts. Third will come the website and all the customer-facing material. That's going to make it a lot easier to sell our product and sell a complex prepaid PPA in a very simple and easy way. That's our whole goal. So yeah, today it's the same portal. HDM contracts will be sent out, just to be clear, because everything in Artemis, although it says Maxwell Power, Maxwell prepaid PPA, in the coming weeks, there will be a Maxwell prepaid PPA that will be sent. All of the bones of it are the exact same contractually. It's just going to have a little bit of a facelift, be a little bit cleaner and easier to use, but everything will be the same. And then those contracts will show Maxwell. But today, to be clear, it's HDM that the agreement is getting sent out, and that'll be adjusted here soon.
Yep. You can use Maxwell's portal directly for whatever, and you can also use ours. There's a question about sending agreements without the design. You want to make sure the numbers are accurate, the incentive information is accurate, et cetera. So you probably want to make sure wherever you do it, right, you have the right information, which I imagine if you're asking the question, you do. So, but you can either or. You can pick whichever door you want to take. You'll get to the same place eventually. Yeah, we integrate with most lenders. There are some TPO providers we don't yet, but we're actively working on. Let's see. What are the top 5 solar project management tools that Artemis integrates with? I'm not sure top 5, but if they're top 5, we probably work with them because there's been demand for them. And we also have our own project management tool that works and talks pretty coherently to other tools. So you could have some of your team members doing project management in Artemis, and then some of the post install stuff being other tools. Any plans to open up Montana, Austin?
Montana's not on the list, unfortunately. It can be. Hit me up. I'm happy. We're currently every month we reevaluate where we need to go. Right now, our plan, as shown on that map, is the East Coast. Right? Someone asked about that too, East Coast. So Illinois opens up here in the next week or two. We have New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and then it's New York, Mass, Connecticut. Right? It's all those that have SRECs and incentives open there. But yeah, no Montana on the list. We'd love to be in all of them, right? Unfortunately, we've seen some other prepaids jump into states quickly. There is a lot.
Someone said, "Do not open Montana." So there's some tension.
There's some tension. I think Montana is a beautiful state. I've been there. I love to go fishing in Montana, but don't know about the solar viability there. But
now I'm interested. I want to know how this novella ends. I'm gonna keep following up on Montana.
Sounds good. I love it. But yeah, keep the conversations open. The states that we're in today were because it was driven by you all, right? It's driven by our current EPC partners where they exist and current volume in those states. So anyway,
I'll just comment one thing.
Georgia.
Sorry, on the integration question, I just mentioned that we also have APIs, webhooks. We have an iframe that you can put Artemis anywhere basically as your design tool. So you can integrate Artemis anywhere, basically.
Great. Yeah, good call out. Can you do one more example of how incentives work with Maxwell? Feel free to do a demo. Like the demo is free, and we can do a live example with you. So if you wanted to get something specific, we're happy to do that. For the ask
And
there, can you get?
I'll jump in real quickly. They use the term prepaid lease. I'm going to correct you. This is not a lease. This is a prepaid PPA, structurally very different. I've been in solar 14 years. Up until about probably a year ago, I use those terms synonymously, right? It's a PPA, it's a lease, it's a TPO, it's third party owned, right? Structurally, they are very different in the ownership, in the transfer, in the tax credits, in the viability, in the selling of those credits, right? And so prepaid lease is brand new, right? That's a new model, right, that has popped up recently that doesn't have really any track record. A prepaid PPA has it, right? Tried and true. We've done this 8 times, right? Where we tranche systems daily, right? Verified by the IRS and system. So it's a very different model. So anyway, I know we use that term synonymously sometimes, but Maxwell Power, the whole rebrand is structured around that. We are a prepaid PPA. So
You've been in solar 14 years. You look like you're 14, Austin. What do you
I
mean
know. I
14
started when
years?
I was 7. So that's why I grow the mustache, and it's all I can
Yeah.
grow. So this at least adds like 2
Yeah.
years to it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. That's max 2 years for sure.
That's right.
We do support like small commercial with larger parcels. So from a design standpoint, and so we'll probably we can crawl, walk, run with the Maxwell team on commercial, but we wanted to start here on the residential side. I think that covers
Yeah,
most
that's
most of it
the
here.
nuts and bolts. I say. I mean, you all have access to us individually. Fill out that form if you're new to Maxwell. Go fill out that form and get the demo from Artemis. If you have specific questions on pricing, bring it on. Right, let's walk through it. So
So there's another Austin there. But sweet, we're excited. Maxwell's if for those that don't know, they just raised a $750 million fund, on top of the $1.5 billion they have under management. And so from a reputable group, so they've got are ready to deploy. And our goal in this partnership is to deploy it right, to do so responsibly, to make sure underwriting, design, savings, all of that, so that like this next wave of funded projects properly represent where we are and who we are as an industry. And so yeah, like we welcome all the opportunities to work with any of you to push this forward. So let's make it happen.
awesome. Thanks, Wally. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Take care.
Yep.